Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's video. We're going to have a look at weather for the next 10 to 14 days. For today's video, day 10 will take us to the 22nd of March, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the GFS and ECM ensembles. Very much in a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at CFSV2 at the end of the video. For the next 4 weeks, that gets us into the April. I shall get on with that for you in a moment. Just to say about the first video today was 6 AM upload. We've also released a second summer update, so we'll check that out. Quite an interesting video looking at February data today. Please like, share and subscribe on the videos. Thank you so very much everybody for doing that. And yeah, we've got to put around 40 to 38 subscribers, something like that, to get ourselves to 15.7k. So I've got to know if you could give us a sub, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Thank you so very much, everybody, for doing that for us. Right, so let's crack on then with your 10-14 day. Having a lovely Sunday. Oh, wow. It's milder today, isn't it? Much milder. Not for long, though. Anyway, more about that in a moment. Right, let's start off with Arctic oscillation observed and forecast. So, the AO observed and forecast looks like this. That line shows where we've been with the Arctic oscillations. Red lines again for GFS ensembles are forecasting the Arctic oscillation to go. We are currently weekly negative with the AO. We're going to go to around neutral in the next few days, but then go negative again into the second half of March. There's no sign of a sustained sort of positive phase of the AO at the moment. So that tells us that whilst we are going to see a reduction in the northern blocking signal, so the peak of the northern blocking, of course, is here. Remember, it's always the weather that's driving the index. So the reason that the AO actually plummets there is because the Greenland high gets going and we see extensive northern blocking. That's what's delivered the cold weather that we've had recently. We are seeing a relaxation of that. We are seeing the blocking sort of relaxing, but not completely going away, I don't think. And with the AO going negative again, that could be a signal that we've got to watch out. Maybe not for anything quite as severe as we had through the first week of March, but we've probably got to watch out for further cold snaps coming and going. Not sustained, but cold snaps coming and going, probably through the rest of the month. The NAO observed and forecast looks like this. Again, black line shows where we've been with the North Atlantic oscillation. Red lines at the end where the GFS ensembles are forecasting the NAO to go. For most of winter, the NAO was positive. It did go really quite negative, though. It's really early part of March. Again, that's because of we had that cold spell, or have had the cold spell. We're actually around neutral to weak negative at the moment. And we keep the NAO in neutral to probably weekly negative phase as we go through the second half of March as well. So again, no sign of a positive phase to the NAO. If anything, we will be neutral to weekly negative. So I think putting the indexes together, the AO and the NAO, putting them together, I think we've got to be watching out for further cold snaps. Not necessarily sustained, locked-in cold weather. So I think we're probably over the worst of the, the coldest of the weather for this March. But nevertheless, I think whilst it's getting milder at the moment, and the coming week will be milder, particularly in the south, I think we have got to be watching out for further colder snaps to come. Surging temperature is as low as it's going to get now for this month, I think. So CT is currently sitting at 3.4 here. We've had, I think that's 2.3 degrees below average. That's provisional to yesterday to the 11th. That's as low as it's going to get. It's very mild out there today. That'll start lifting up when this updates tomorrow. I don't see us getting above average, I have to say. I'm not seeing any sustained very mild weather. So this will increase. It's probably going to go up into the 5s, I would have thought, over the next week or so. But probably won't get any higher than that. So it will be interesting to see whether we finish up underneath February. If we have a colder March than February, that will be, quite noteworthy. These are the 500 millibar hydraulic flow charts from the Penn State University for the next week, 10 days. We've got the ECM on the top and the GFS is on the bottom. 500 millibars, 18,000 feet, is an area in the atmosphere. High pressure, low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream running above. Red extrapolates to above average height, which is high pressure. Blue to below average heights, which is low pressure. So in the 7 to 10 day time frame, you can see that we have got below average heights with the ECM in the Atlantic heading into the UK, keeping the unsettled weather going. There is a little bit of higher pressure up towards Greenland there as well. There's a ridge over on the eastern side of Europe, by the way, that will bring very mild weather up to the eastern side of Europe. For us in the west of Europe, we're probably going to be unsettled and probably rather cool, if anything. In fact, we are on the cool side of the jet stream there. So with low pressure and being on the cool side of the jet stream, probably a rather chilly and unsettled sort of spell. Now, the GFS is colder than that, though. So this is how the GFS is looking. Much stronger with the area of above average heights, high pressure today in the North Atlantic heading up towards Greenwich. This is based on the midnight GFS run and ECM run, by the way. So, yes, we see we've got some low pressure around Newfoundland there and low pressure or below average heights to our northern and eastern jet stream. With this, is doing something a little bit like that. Still has the ridge over on the eastern side of Europe, bringing very mild weather northwards to them. But for the west of Europe, it looks quite cool. This looks quite cold. With the GFS midnight run, we will be bringing down the wind from quite a long way north with that. And the air would be light from quite a long way north. So the GFS definitely colder than the ECM day. But the ECM isn't particularly mild, I don't think. You know, the ECM is cool and a bit miserable, to be honest. These are the 500 millibar high quality flow charts. No, we're not. These are the GFS upper air temperatures. Precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to get used to having those Penn State charts back, you know, because I haven't had them for years. And so that sort of throws me off my running order a little bit. So it'll take a little bit of time to adjust to having them back. No, these are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We're looking at Hibalsto today. I hope I pronounced that correct. I've never heard of this place, but it is another suggested location for this part of the video. Hibalsto. I hope I pronounced that okay to the person that suggested this. Right, apparently it's in Lincolnshire. Right, okay, so starting off above average with your air temperatures at the moment. It has turned much milder today, not been out yet. Then pop outside and you'll feel the much milder feeling of temperature. Going cold average again, though, as we get towards the middle of the week. Temperatures are going to be doing another plummet. Then lifting back up close to average or a little bit above. Towards the end of next week, and then maybe another colder episode or interlude appearing there between around the 20th and the 24th, 25th of March, just around here. We could be seeing signs of another colder snap appearing there. So that's what I'm talking about at the start of the video. You know, I think we'll be watching out for not sustained cold, but cold snaps coming and going probably through the rest of March. In between milder interludes. Precipitation-wise, there'll be lots of precipitation to come over the next week, 10 days. Maybe a drying trend into the final days of March, though. But, you know, certainly really looks quite a mix. At the very least, over the next week, 10 days. And still quite a few snow spikes appearing. Snow spikes there appearing for Hibalsto around the 14th, 15th of March. And then again, perhaps around the 22nd, 23rd of March around there. So there could be further opportunities for snow to come. Temperature anomalies on the 12th to the 20th of March, a little bit cold and average from the north, ever so slightly above average down in the south and for Ireland. It's a bit of a change of what we're seeing lately. I'd expect these will start to trend a little bit cooler again over the next day or two, but we shall see. Precipitation anomalies on the 12th to 20th of March coming out above average, especially for the north and for the west. The latest info from urbannorschool.net shows that we've lost the northerlies and finally the southwesterlies have broken through, especially across England and Wales. The northerlies have been pushed back to the north of Scotland. For now, they will return, though, by Tuesday. So this is our latest UK Euro run. It's looking midnight on Wednesday under a ridge of high pressure and within cold air, but it's pushed southwards the day before. Now on Thursday, low pressure comes in off the Atlantic, brings wet and windy weather into the southwest, probably turns to snow though across the northern half of the country as that rain bumps into the cold air. Into Friday and next weekend, a trough of low pressure sitting around the country, keeping things generally on the mixed side at the very least, and certainly not overly mild. I mean, not going to be as cold as it has been, obviously, because we've not got a northerly feeder there. But within this trough of low pressure, I think temps probably about average, and feeling, if there's spells of rain and showers, not spells of rain, probably feeling a little bit on the cool side. If anything, a little bit miserable. Icon, again, looks like that, bringing in the wind from the north on Wednesday, so quite a cold day, although we have got a transient ridge building up ahead of the next area of low pressure out to the Atlantic through Thursday and Friday, turning unsettled again with low pressure pushing through the country. Initially, there could be some snow in the north, probably turns back to rain even in the north, though, by Friday. Into the weekend, and it just stays unsettled really next weekend, further low pressure coming in from off the Atlantic. Doesn't look overly mild with that either. The GFS midnight run, again, there's that northerly from Tuesday into Wednesday, then low pressure is back in off the Atlantic, bringing further spells of rain and unsettled weather. Now, beyond that, we find that the GFS midnight run starts to build high pressure around Greenland and Iceland, sends the jet stream and the areas of low pressure southwards. We saw it on the 500 millibar high tonic flow chart for Penn State University, but in the week 10-day time frame, the GFS midnight run is building up high pressure to our north and northwest and pulling wind back into a colder northerly northeasterly again. Look at the upper air temperatures there for day 9. This is 21st of March, right? 10 cells iceberg coming southwards across the country, or certainly the northern half of the country. So turning much colder there around days 9 and 10 with this area of high pressure to our west and northwest again, and bring down those cold northerly winds. Upper air temperatures looking really quite cold indeed around the 21st, so the 2nd of March, certainly cold at the charts. Back to snow. That northerly wind is maintained again on the 23rd of March also. Stays cold beyond that, really, right the way up to the end of the GFS midnight run. Looks pretty cold and wintry. This area of low pressure coming into that. Cold air could bring rain, sleet and snow and whatnot. We finish up with high pressure around Greenland, Iceland still. The wind still coming in from that cold east or northeasterly direction. That's probably over the top from a GFS midnight run, but it is the idea that we aren't necessarily out of the woods for further cold periods. This is precipitation type forecast based on that GFS midnight run from the weather outlook. Plenty of rain to come over the next day or so. Lots of wet weather piling in from off the Atlantic. By tomorrow afternoon, that rain turning back to snow again across Scotland as colder air digs back in from the north. Then overnight Monday into Tuesday, that wintry mix comes southwards across the country, leaving us with a cold and wintry day on Tuesday. Wintry showers, particularly into the north and west. A quiet day for Wednesday, and then back comes that wet weather on Thursday. Some snow on the leading edge of that for a while, especially through northern and eastern, northeastern region. Turns back to rain though, and then we go into Friday with showers or longer spells of rain. And into the weekend, gradually that wet weather clears away and cold weather returns from the north then. Of course, with showers as wind turns into north, start turning wintry once again around the 21st, 22nd of March. They start turning increasingly to snow into the low res time frame now, by the way. And then beyond that, we've got more rain, sleet, snow, and pretty miserable weather as we get into the closing days of the month. Still not spring, everyone. The GFS 6Z, again, with that ridge of high pressure, transient ridge of high pressure building up ahead of the next area of low pressure on Wednesday, being cold air, and then that low pressure pushing through country at the end of the week into the weekend. Heights rising again around Greenland and Iceland, turns wind back into a colder northerly northeasterly again on GFS 6Z. Also around day 9, 21st of March, down comes -10 Celsius iceberg to the northern half of the country. All areas looking cold by the time you get through day 10. GFS 6Z, which is to the 22nd of March, -10 Celsius iceberg as far south as northern England then. Low pressure comes back in off the Atlantic as we get to the end of the GFS 6Z run. And then right at the very end, signs of spring. Looking at some high pressure builds over Denmark. And that will bring in a much milder flow from France. And, you know, that will feel quite spring-like, I think, by the time we get to the end of the month. Precipitation forecast based on that GFS 6Z run looks like this. Further spells of rain turn to snow across Scotland by the end of Monday, and then on into Tuesday. Still be a bit of a snow event there, actually, across parts of northern England. Wintry showers coming further southwards as well. Further wintry showers as we go on into Tuesday. Also, that looks quite wintry, doesn't it? Rain, sleet, snow. Southwards, then into Thursday, in comes that wet weather off the Atlantic, again some snow on the leading edge of that. Turns back to rain at the end of the week and into the weekend, and then we go back into that colder weather again. After a bit of a deluge around the 21st of March, go back into that cold weather again. And, you know, a bit of a stretch of some snow down in the south, not too far away to take seriously, but easy idea, but the cold weather comes back again around the 21st, 22nd of March. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so very much, everybody, for doing that. And don't forget to drop a comment, let us know what you think about this, all of our videos. And thank you so very much, everybody, for doing that. GM, again, with high pressure building up from the west and from southwest on Wednesday, ahead of the next area of low pressure coming in Atlantic on Thursday into Friday, looking unsettled. It means unsettled conditions stay with us into the weekend as well. But GM also starts to send the jet stream and below southwards, eastwards and builds high pressure around Greenland, Iceland, turn wind into the northeast around day 9 and 10. So the GM is also turning things colder around days 8, 9, 10 with a northeasterly flow, establishing increasing risk of snow with that. And then the ECM once more, a little transient bump on Wednesday. Only out of next area of low pressure for Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend, looking unsettled. Trying to build some higher pressure around Greenland and Iceland then. But just keeps wind in off the Atlantic region. So I think out of all my runs around days 9, 10, the ECM is the mildest. It's not particularly mild, but it's the mildest around days 9, 10, I think. And still unsettled with low pressure in from off the Atlantic ring, spells of rain. This is the precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from meteo.com. Lots of wet weather to come in the next few days, and then some snow in the north in particular as that cold air digs back in later tomorrow. Wintry showers then on Tuesday into Wednesday. And then we get that wet weather in off the Atlantic, and that turns to southerly edge rain. Further south was a bit of a deluge through Thursday, and further showers, lots of spells of rain then, knocking around into the weekend, even up to day 10. We've got more wet weather pushing through them. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10. From the Icelandic Met Office, this will get us to the 21st of March. That's the first day of the astronomical spring, I think, this year. Well, I've not checked. Sometimes it can be the 22nd or the 23rd, but I more often than not, it's the 21st. Anyway, we got 15 members of the ECM ensembles with some high pressure around Greenland, Iceland, some low pressure to south and southwest. That's almost turning cold again. But just keep the wind from more of a southwesterly, southerly direction there. Lake losing control on the operational 14, low pressure through the coast. That looks very unsettled. 12, though, have high pressure between Iceland and Scandinavia, main dry. And that could be quite chilly or it could be quite pleasant. It depends on the exact origins of the air. Certainly the wind blows like easterly, but whether the origins of the air is south of east, if it is, then it'll be quite spring-like. If it's north of east, then it'll probably be quite cold. And then 10, with low pressure just to our southwest, high pressure to our east. That's going to be unsettled and relatively mild as well. So these ensembles not seeing that cold northerly that the GFS operationals have got. However, this option here, the 15 there, really close to that. You know, will only take a slight adjustment of that low in that direction to allow cold northerly northeasterlies to set in. In 2 week time, these are the options that we've got. Gets us to the 27th of March. 15 members of the ECM ensembles increasing northern blocking around Greenland and Iceland, sending low pressure to the south. That's probably bringing quite a cold easterly again for the end of March. Could even be rather wintering. 12 with low pressure to the north and west, so quite unsettled, but that's a little bit on the milder side. 9 with high pressure somewhere around Scotland. That could be quite pleasant. Winds will be easterly, so probably quite chilly, particularly at night, but by day probably not too bad. 8 with high pressure again blocking to the north, and low pressure around Ireland. So that's going to be quite unsettled, of course. And then 7 with high pressure out to our west, low pressure to the east, and that, if anything, bring wind back in from the north. So a range of options there, but none of them are particularly screaming, you know, but spring is there, you know. A lot of them look either unsettled and rather cool or slightly on the mild side. There is like an option there, the main option, the 15, that looks quite cold. The most spring-like option would probably be this one. But even that could be a little bit chilly, especially so at night if the wind is in from the east. 7SB2 finally, these are 500 millibar high dollars broken down into week periods. The first week period takes us from the 12th to the 18th of March. The coming week with low pressure to our north and northeast. High pressure is around Greenland and over towards Canada. No, unsettled, begin to get a little bit less cold, though, you know, more of an Atlantic flow, losing the northerly type influence. Week 2 is the 19th, 25th of March. Low pressure is to our north and west. High pressure is to our south. Southwest winds are in from a westerly direction. So that could be unsettled but milder. Week 3 is going to be the 26th of March to the 1st of April. High pressure ridging up from the south to the north. That could be quite pleasant. The high pressure could be bringing up wind from the southwest direction. So that might be a taste of spring there at the end of March. But what happens when we get through to week 4 is the 2nd to the 8th of April. The high pressure then goes to Greenland and Iceland again. Top of low pressures in Scandinavia. And that goes back to square one, back to northerly winds. Albeit we're into April then, so it's harder to get it really cold and it's harder to get snow, but it would be chilly and it would just be a continuation of the delayed spring, I think, you know, that. But it is 4 weeks away, so it's not really worth worrying about. It's a struggle to get spring going this year, a real struggle. I mean, we will get there in the end, you know, spring will arrive, but, proper spring, I mean, will arrive, but at the minute it is a struggle. And that's, of course, because of or mostly because of the sudden stratospheric warming event that we had back in February. Okay, we're done. If you enjoyed the video, then please can you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so very much, everybody, for doing that. Drop a comment. Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. And don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe as well. And we'll get ourselves to 15.7k and our ultimate target of 16,000 subscribers. Thank you so very much, everybody, for doing that. Right, that's it for today's content. Just to tell you what's coming up tomorrow. We're going to have the 6 a.m. upload. We'll have the 10 to 14 day for you. We will also be live streaming at 8 p.m. tomorrow. We'll live stream Ensembles Watch, show some long range in that as well. So keep checking back to the channel for all of the content. But for today's videos, that's all for now. And thanks so much.